Good morning.
Good morning.
Before actually we start, I do want to just take a moment to acknowledge the passing of Perrin Mitchell, whom I grew up regarding as an icon of decency and justice and service. And I also want to acknowledge the funeral yesterday of Marquise Ellis, who perished in the Cecil Avenue fire. Some of the family members of those who perished in that fire live just up the street, and our prayers go out to that entire family. Libby, thank you very much. Thank you for thank you for thank you for your example of courage and compassion and of love of your community. And I also want to thank my family, my son Moulay, my wife Jill, our daughter Christina, my son Jimmy, and my mom Christine for joining us here today. I am honored to be here among neighbors and friends here in my community to declare my candidacy for president of the Baltimore City Council. This campaign is beginning today where Baltimore's greatness as a city lies, here on a street of homes in a neighborhood where every day hardworking people are trying to live out their dreams. Baltimore is at a crossroads. Over the coming years, we have an opportunity, really for the first time in a generation, to make life dramatically better in neighborhoods all across the city. It's a unique opportunity. But we could go down the wrong road. We could stagnate, or we could end up polarizing into enclaves of wealth and enclaves of poverty. And we as a city are better than that. Vision is critical at this time in our city's history. The people of this community and of the other communities where I've worked for the last 15 years have taught me a lot about vision. They taught me that this is a city full of hopeful and determined people. I remember in one of the first drug nuisance cases I ever filed as a community lawyer, it was an apartment complex where there was just really out of control violence and drug dealing, and the neighbors across the street decided they were going to do something about it. We ended up in court, and at one point, the judge said, well, I understand, Mr. Sarbanes, that your clients don't want to deal with drugs and crime, but really, what do they expect in Baltimore City? And one of the neighbors responded and gave that judge a lesson in vision. And she said, with all due respect, Your Honor, we expect the same thing that anyone expects. We expect a safe, decent place to live. It took them a while, but they cleaned that building up, and they achieved that vision. During this campaign, I'm going to be talking about three things that have characterized my work and my life in my own community. I'm going to be talking about community, I'm going to be talking about opportunity, and I'm going to be talking about leadership. Communities are the basic building blocks of our city. A city of strong neighborhoods is a healthy, vibrant place to live. It's time for us to invest boldly in our communities. There are thousands of vacant buildings in this city. Last month, I was doing a walking tour with a neighborhood leader, and she looked around and she said, isn't there some way we could turn these vacant houses into jobs for the people who need work in this neighborhood and into decent, affordable places to live for all the families who are working 2 and 3 jobs and still doubling up? That's not a pipe dream. If we have the determination and the will at this point in our history, we can make that happen. For the first time in many years, we have an opportunity to grow as a city. There are a lot of factors that make that happen. There's BRAC. You read about it, if you just look at today's paper. There's the base restructuring. There's the price of gas. Just look at the pumps. There's the fact that the population is aging. There's the fact that the counties around us are out of land. There are lots of reasons why we can grow. It's essential now that we as a city make a determination that we are going to grow so that everybody benefits from it. So that the person who is doing the surgery in one of our great hospitals and the person who's cleaning up after the surgery is done all benefit from growth in Baltimore. For the last 2 years, I worked on developing inclusionary housing legislation that would help to achieve this. It's pending in front of the City Council now. It is high time to act. I can assure you I will bring a sense of urgency to resolving this issue and moving forward on it. Community is also a huge untapped resource for reducing crime. Some of my friends and neighbors from the Boyd Booth community are here. They taught me a great lesson. At one point, they took over the drug corner in their community for 17 Fridays in a row, doing everything they could think about, cookouts, gospel concerts, face painting, whatever it was. That began a process that ended up dramatically reducing violent crime in that community. Our police and all of the agencies of city government should be finding every way to help law-abiding citizens take charge of how their streets look and feel. Now, I'm also going to be focusing a lot on opportunity. Fundamentally, this means jobs. I have known and become friends with and coached a lot of people, a lot of young people in this community. And I've had too many conversations with young men where I say, well, where are you working? And what they describe to me is they describe a job where they are the last in for a job that is not going to be around very long. We need to get away from that. When I ask them, well, where's that job leading? I don't want to just see a shrug of the shoulders. I want them to say, I've got a job that is leading me somewhere on which I can build a life, on which I can raise a family. So we need to get ahead and start to create the jobs in places that are in sectors of the economy that are growing, like the green economy. So our residents are first in for the jobs of the future, not last in for the jobs of the past. Opportunity also, of course, means schools. It's very basic. Our schools have to live up to the promise of our children. Our children have enormous promise. Our schools need to live up to that promise. There are a lot of things we can do to get there, and I think the City Council has a crucial role to play. Just to take one example, who pays attention to making sure that the route to school is safe? That when kids go to school, they are getting there in an environment that is getting them ready to learn and to focus on learning. I remember one young man in this community, when he was a student, early part of high school, he was expelled for having a box cutter at school, and he was a very gentle young man. And I said, well, why was this? He says, well, Mr. Mike, I felt all right when I got to school, but I was afraid of getting jumped afterwards. We need to move to a place, it should never be the case that a young man has to choose between getting expelled from school and getting jumped after school. I believe that there's a strong role that the City Council can play in making things like this happen. Finally, I'm going to be focusing on leadership. I really believe that the City Council has a unique role. It's the level of government that's closest to the people. It's the place where all the ideas, the concerns, the energies of our citizens can actually link up with all of the actions of city government, whether the issues housing or safety or jobs or schools. It can be the place that connects that untapped resource to the actions of our government so we fundamentally change and improve the quality of life in our communities. As I stand here, I can look up the street and I can see challenges. I can see a boarded up house right at the top of the street. But before that, I can also see our Peace Park, which was once a vacant lot, a vacant house, and a lot that was filled with trash. And with the effort of neighbors and a lot of children, over the past couple of years, we've been able to clean that up and start to turn it into a place of beauty. The other day, we had a cleanup about 2 weeks ago, and I overheard a conversation between two little girls from the neighborhood. And one of them said, well, what is a peace park for? And the other one, in very serious tone, says, peace is when you can just relax and be who God wants you to be. And I'm running for council president because I want to bring that little girl's vision to pass in communities all across Baltimore. So today I'm asking the people of Baltimore for their support and for the opportunity to serve. I was raised to believe that the confidence of the voters is a sacred trust. And I assure you that if elected, I will work to the limit of my ability to justify that trust. Many thanks to all of you for coming. I look forward to the next month talking with the people of Baltimore, with all of you, about community, opportunity, and leadership. Thanks again for coming. There's refreshments on the patio, and I'll be around afterwards to answer some questions. Thank you very much.